Now that you've gotten your W-2, you might be wondering where all the numbers on the form go on your tax return. Well, you'll find that information in this video. I'm the Tax Geek, and here's what to do with your W-2 oversimplified. Before we start, this video was inspired by this comment. If you'd like to see your suggestion turned into a video, please let me know in the comment space below, along with any other questions or comments you may have. Here is Form W-2. This is the official IRS version, but most of you will receive something that looks quite different. As long as the form has all the boxes of the official form, it's perfectly okay. In a video I made at the very start of this channel, I took a deep dive into Form W-2 and explained where most of the numbers came from. Now it's time to learn where all these numbers go on either your Form 1040 or other schedules or forms attached to your return. Let's start with Box 1. These are your taxable wages, tips, and other compensation, and it is placed on line 1A. Box 2 is your federal income tax withheld on these wages. This is entered on line 25A on page 2. Now the figures in Box 3 and 4 don't go directly on your tax return. However, you may need to know them. If you have multiple jobs and the total Social Security wages from all your jobs total more than the maximum wages subject to Social Security tax, which for 2025 is $176,100, you are entitled to a refundable tax credit of any excess Social Security tax that was withheld. That credit shows up on line 11 of Part 2 of Schedule 3 and ultimately lands on line 31 of Form 1040. Boxes 4 and 5 involve Medicare tax. For most taxpayers, this has no bearing on the tax return, but if you have enough compensation to trigger additional Medicare tax, the Medicare tax that was withheld needs to be reconciled on Form 8959. There is a more detailed video on the additional Medicare tax that shows how all this works. Box 7, Social Security tips, usually have little actual bearing on the tax return, unless, as with Box 3, your Social Security tips combined with other Social Security wages exceed the Social Security wage maximum. It's rare to see allocated tips, which are shown in Box 8. Allocated tips are definitely a story for another video. The number in Box 10 are dependent care benefits your employer gave to you. These have to be shown on line 12 of page 2 of Form 2441. If your actual dependent care expenses are less than your dependent care benefits, any excess benefits become taxable income and are shown on line 1E of Form 1040. Let's skip ahead to Box 12, since amounts in Box 11 are exceedingly rare. Several different items might be in Box 12, each accompanied by a different code. Some of these items are merely for your information, and others have an effect on your return. Let's look at the most common codes. Code C, Taxable Group Life Insurance. This is the cost of any group life insurance over $50,000 that your employer provides you. The taxable amount is determined by the amount of your insurance and your age. This is primarily for your information and is included in your Box 1 wages. Code D, also E, F, G, or H. These are pre-tax retirement plan contributions. Code D indicates a 401k deferral, and the other codes are for different types of plans that operate in much the same way. This amount is not included in your Box 1 wages, but is usually included in your Box 3 Social Security wages. Much of the time, this is primarily for your information, but if your income falls within certain guidelines, the amount is entered on line 2 of Form 8880 to claim a Retirement Savings Contributions credit. Code Q, Non-Taxable Combat Pay. Military pay received when deployed to an active combat zone is non-taxable. However, this amount may be included when computing an earned income credit or refundable child tax credit, if including it would result in a higher credit. Code T, Employer-Provided Adoption Benefits. These function much in the same way as the child care benefits described earlier. These benefits must be reported on line 20 of page 2 of Form 8839. If these benefits exceed the actual adoption expenses paid, and the adoption has been finalized, the excess is included in taxable income on line 1F of your Form 1040. Code V, Income from exercising a non-statutory stock option. Handling this code is rather complex and will be covered in another video. Code W, Contributions to a health savings account. This is the total amount both you and your employer contributed to your health savings account. This amount is entered on line 9 of Form 8889, but usually doesn't affect the rest of your return. Codes AA, BB, or EE. These are also retirement contributions, but they are made on a Roth basis and do not affect the amount of wages in Box 1. Like the retirement amounts described earlier, these contributions can also qualify you for a Retirement Savings Contributions credit if your income falls within the guidelines for the credit. And lastly, Code DD. This is the cost of your employer-sponsored health insurance coverage. This amount is non-taxable and provided for your information only. It does not affect your Form 1040. In Box 13, you'll most often see the retirement plan box checked. If you're eligible to participate in any employer-sponsored retirement plan, this box will be checked. If this box is checked, it may affect your ability to deduct a traditional IRA contribution. Box 14 provides any additional information your employer thinks you should know. Here you'll find Railroad Retirement Tier 1 and Tier 2 contributions, after-tax contributions to a company or government retirement plan, contributions to a state temporary disability program, and charitable contributions such as United Way made through payroll deduction. If you contribute to a charity through payroll deduction, the amount can be added to any cash charitable contributions you are claiming on Schedule A if you are otherwise able to itemize deductions. Finally, boxes 15 through 20 show state and local wages and tax withheld. These amounts go as instructed on your state or local income tax returns. It should go without saying, but if you use online tax preparation and enter the numbers from your W-2 correctly, the software will place the numbers on all forms in the correct spaces. And that's where most of the numbers from your W-2 go in your tax forms. Of course, there are additional ways your W-2 can affect your tax return, particularly when it comes to Box 12 codes. Additional information and resources are linked in the video description. If you found this video informative, clicking the like button would be greatly appreciated, as would subscribing to the channel for more oversimplifications of our overcomplicated tax system. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more of your taxes oversimplified.